Guys, what's going on? I got a video for you that I think is going to be pretty interesting, man. I want to talk about what has been ruining hitters in Diamond Dynasty for a few years now and what MLB the Show needs to do to stop it and how we can salvage the likes of Tony Gwynn, some Jackie Robinson cards, Roberto Clemente, potential Ichiros, Craig Biggio's, guys like that. How we can salvage hitters like that in this game and how to evade this power creep of power hitters, people needing power, needing this certain threshold, and what it means, and a hidden mechanic in this game that is ruining those hitters and that is directly responsible, since MLB 19 at least, I think, for making them as quote-unquote unusable players. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing right now. I'm playing the Oakland Athletics just to beat some cheeks against the CPU to show you what I'm talking about. Now, before I get into actually hitting and breaking this down specifically with examples, I want to take you guys somewhere. Come with me to the guide. Come with me to the strategy guide for hitting. Now, where are we gonna go? I'm gonna tell you guys about balanced contact and power hitter types. Now, what does that mean? Before I get into that, I'll show you what that means. Look at my screen on the right. You see contact hitter for Luis Arias, right? Okay. That's the type of hitter they are. It says it on their card. What does that mean? Let's hop back into it. Go to hitting. Now I take y'all to where we need to be. Where is that section? Believe it is. Okay, here we go. Right where I need to be. Let me break this down for you. I've done a video on this before in the past when talking about vision specifically, but now I'm going to dive deep into why your favorite hitters, best hitters of all time, like Tony Gwynn, stuff like that, why they feel weak. But why 85 to 87 power, even 75 power in a guy in a BR game who's a silver hits. Why someone with 30 contact but 75 power can hit tanks. A guy like Miguel Sano, who's like power might be like 80 on his live series, but he hits bombs. But if you give Tony Gwynn 80 power, it's like nothing. I'll explain to you why that happens. Batters with much higher contact ability than power, the ratio, right? The ratio of contact rating to power, the example being, if you are 125 contact, but 92 power, you are a contact hitter. If you are 125, 93 power, you are a balanced hitter type. That's the threshold for max contact. I don't know what the exact ratios are. Someone could probably do the math when it goes lower and it's lower numbers, but I do know when it's max contact, you need at least 93 power to make it balanced or higher. So batters with much higher contact ability than power will hit more line drives than just their contact ability alone would indicate. For this kind of batter, which we call a contact hitter, the PCI is not an ideal representation of the hit type you'll get because the line drive region is much bigger than normal, meaning you are more likely to top the ball. You are more likely to hit low liners, chop wood, whatever you want to say. Note that power hitters succeed differently, and every hit type they produce will be more successful. Fly balls, line drives, ground balls, etc. That's why power hitter type's the best in the game. Why they get the most consistent exit velos. And every hit type they produce will be blah, blah, blah. The contact hitter only gets more total hits by producing a higher proportion of the best hits, more line drives, more hard grounders, rather than easy grounders, and more low fly balls than high flies. Meaning that the PCI being larger, right, and being a contact hitter type elicits more line drive contact. It means that I guess you'll catch more consistent low liners and barrels, right? It's going to be harder to get that ideal swing that you want, but at the cost of exit velocity, and most importantly, if you hit a ball with backspin, it is going to die in the outfield. You are literally being penalized, minus a perfect, for hitting balls deep in the outfield with a backspin on it. If you hit it with backspin, it is going to die. That is why 80 power on Tony Gwynn on a line drive in the gap, just backwards, and it just loses steam in the gap, and the outfielder runs it down. It's better this year because outfielders aren't as fast, and they fix the ratios of the field. Because if you didn't know this, in 22, someone actually pointed this out to me before MLB the Show kind of admitted this. The fielders were too big for the field. They were playing larger than the field's ratios. The field was too small. It's pretty crazy. But this is why you hit a line drive with backspin with some of these guys with lower power ratings. And even though you squared it up, you just don't get that exit velo. The noodle bat that you're talking about is an intentional mechanic in this game, and it is horrible. Your power rating should be your power rating. There are way too many people in this game with 125 contact and 100 plus powers to make a 125 contact Tony Gwynn with 80 power viable. It doesn't make sense. A well-hit ball should be a well-hit ball. I think you should get rid of you should either get rid of contact hitter entirely or get rid of all of them and just work with power ratios alone. This is an archaic mechanic that they've had in this game that is just doesn't have a place. It destroys the game, and with the power creep of 125 attributes, it is ruining certain hitters. That's why guys like Tony Gwynn and Ichiro have been good since 19, because of that reason. That's the problem. I miss the days of having a leadoff hitter, and that's actually a good thing. There was a place on the team for that. They're attached to some archaic systems, the example being contact power and regular swing. Nobody really online does any other swing besides regular, because they made it so contact swings are worse for power hitters, which makes no sense. If you're a power hitter with low vision, low contact, on 2 strikes, you should be shortening your swing at the expense of exit velo, because you can make that sacrifice and still hit the ball hard. But no, they changed that because there was a bug in 21 where if you contact swung with a power guy, it didn't nerf the exit velo nearly enough, and your PCI just got bigger and your swing was faster, which was crazy. So people were just hitting tanks with guys with very low contact, or low vision or long swings, and it was actually pretty dope, but it was getting kind of out of hand. Anyways, I digress. That's my point. Hidden mechanics or archaic mechanics that they're attached to that just don't have a place in the game anymore with the power creep. The game's changed. They got to make these changes too. So now, let me get back to this paragraph here. This is in addition to simply putting the ball into play more rather than striking out. That's the idea behind that. It's not really working like that. Lastly, it's important to remember that fly balls are much less valuable to contact hitters, as normally half the hits from fly balls are due to home runs. Thus, contact hitters are known for a lot of routine flyouts, even on reasonably solid contact. That is an awful mechanic. It's like how sliders in this year's game make the PCI smaller more than any other pitch. It is just an unfair advantage on one side. They simply lack the bat speed to hit many home runs, which is just weird and just grossly generalizing, but can expect at least an occasional double or triple on solid contact. In contrast, the highest power hitters can miss the pitch more. Off PCI is what that means. Hit a high fly and still have enough power to land as a home run. So what does that mean? If you're a good player or just someone who knows how to play this game, you are literally going to benefit more from a power hitter. You'll get more forgiveness on your PCIs and more of your fly balls will leave. So if you're someone who just knows how to run this game, you'll swing early, whatever, just get underneath the ball, baby, and you'll go play max elevation. It's going to leave. It is a stupid mechanic that doesn't make a lot of sense in this game, and it's got to go. Grossly generalizing how contact hitters work, it doesn't make sense. Now, this might have made sense years ago when there weren't as many 125 contact guys, but they are giving everybody max contact these days. Max power too. There is no room for a 125 80 Tony Gwynn when there's 125 105 110 Acuñas. There's just no room for these guys anymore. We need better hitter identity, and for that they have to scrap this mechanic entirely and work with power numbers and drag people's power creep a little bit backwards. Lower everybody's attributes to give identity to some of these best hitters in history. They just don't have a place anymore. It's very unfortunate. Now, I know just explaining this. Okay, perfect. Using attribute examples. A 99 contact, 99 power hitter will hit more line drives and home runs than a 60 contact, 60 power hitter. A 99 contact, 60 power hitter will hit even more line drives, but fewer home runs. A 60 contact, 99 power hitter will hit fewer line drives, but will hit every type slightly harder than even the 99 contact, 99 power hitter in order to compensate for this fewer balls put into play. Now, what is an example I can give you guys to make this make sense? It is like in BR when you have a player, right? You're not drafting Tony Gwynn in BR because he's gonna fly out, but you'll draft Adam Duvall, who I love to use, with 80 power and 50 contact because he hits nukes, because he's a power hitter type. That's why a guy with 80 power live series hits bombs, but you would never draft a guy like that in BR. That's why even sometimes your 99s and 97s in BR aren't hitting as well as some of your live series cards. It is an intentional mechanic in this game. That is why it's happening. Now, what is another issue that comes up with this? Well, that pops up with this scenario. It talks about play vision here too. I've already went over vision. That's a different video. I'm not going to go into that. So that is one of the issues of the game. It is very weird. But here's Luis Arias, right? He's hitting a contact hitter type for his lefties. Playing on All-Star level. But just give you guys an example. I'm going to show you guys a real-world example of how this works. That wasn't the greatest swing ever. I just my first swing of the day. But low liner, there's an example of that. A little bit of a tangent here. Quick little thing. Another reason why these low liners and whatever aren't, they think that the idea of hitting more low liners and more frequent better contact as opposed to a power hitter who's gonna have less of that but more exit velocity and deeper flies, they think that there's a value in each. In this game, high fly balls and line drives with backspin getting down with higher exit velo is so much more valuable because guess what happens in this game? A lot of line outs, and the fielders are on crack. Third and first baseman make every diving play, and super dives are low-key back in the infield. You don't want to hit more line drives on low liners or low ground balls. They're going to get caught. Those are extremely low likely hit outcomes. And that makes no sense, because contact hitters like this are supposed to hit for higher average at the expense of power, but they're not, because everything's getting caught on a low liner or a low ground ball. Now, that wasn't the greatest example with Luis Ariz, but I just wanted to show you he's a contact hitter, even though he has 74 power. Dominic Fletcher is a balanced hitter, even though he also has 75 power versus lefties because of a few parallel levels, but he only has 78 contact, so now he's a balanced hitter. So by this theory alone and this game mechanic, if I square up a ball with Dominic Fletcher on All-Star, the same way I would with Ariz, the likelihood of him hitting a home run is higher than Luis Ariz, despite Ariz being a much better card and hitter.
That's a ball.
Even though he's got way less contact, it doesn't make sense. And by default, if he has a higher chance of hitting a home run and a deep fly ball, in this game, the way it works, we just know how the metas work, he therefore has a higher chance of hitting extra base hits and just overall for a higher average. Now, that's a different example. One was a late swing and one's a perfect, but you see my point in the attributes itself, in the spread, and on the card. Now, I can't get you guys a perfect example. It's going to be too hard to replicate, hitting the same exact swing, launch angle, everything like that, but just to give you an example. And now, this is Ernie Banks, who is 65 contact, 84 power, so significantly less contact than Ariz and less contact than Dominic Fletcher, a little more power than both, but nothing to write home about, right? But if you look at the card, I'm taking this pitch because this guy just rushed me, got quick pitched. If you look at the card, he's a power hitter type. Therefore, meaning off PCI swings and just overall swings in general are going to have a higher exit velo, and you're more likely to drive the ball deep in the gap and get better results. You have a higher expected batting average on balls driven in the gap. They're not going to die. They're going to have the extra lift to them. Now, this varies, guys, by the way, not just hitter by hitter, but by, side of the plate. Example, Jose Ramirez. I don't know if he's on. Is he on this team? Did I have him on this lineup? No. Jose Ramirez against righties is a balanced hitter. Against lefties, because of the contact power ratio, I think at the time he was like 107 contact, like 125 power, which is a weird thing because it's not the same ratio as contact or balanced. 107, 125. He's a power hitter type. That's why with J-Ram off the ball, off the PCI home runs are so frequent, and he just hits the ball. It just carries more than other hitters. Guys like that. Guys like Jock Peterson, Miguel Sano, guys like that, the 99s, they just carry. That's why that happens. This is the hidden mechanic. It's not really hidden. It's right in plain sight, but it's something that we don't really know about. But overall, guys, that's what I'm trying to express to you. This is what I'm trying to talk about. I want to bring to light the situation. This is why people want to know why certain guys swing with noodle bats. MLB the Show, I'm begging you, man, get rid of that mechanic or adjust it. Get these legends back to where they need to be on the Mount Rushmore of hitters. Tony Gwynn should not be an afterthought. Jackie Robinson versus righties is a contact hitter. Versus lefties, he hits nukes left and right. A righty's in the game, he swings a noodle bat. Get rid of that mechanic or adjust it, please. It would be so much better for the game's health, just in my opinion. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below, and let me know your thoughts, man. Did you know this? Did you not know this? Do you have any thoughts on it? Let me know. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts, and I'll be responding to some of you guys, obviously. So, see you next time. Peace.